All right, here we go. Welcome to the QR code. This is episode week number five. Episode number five. I'm here with Razor, and this is Q.
Yay.
There you go. It's like
Undefeated.
man, a few
I,
words. Oh, okay. The
I
few
told
words
you
you
to
said.
write it down. I told you to write this down.
If
I
you,
didn't mean to steal it from the Purple Daily guys, but
yeah,
hey, here
the
we are.
the
4
few
oh.
the few words. We're 4-0, 4-0 heading into the game against Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, which in and of itself should be interesting because we've got the whole soap opera going on with the Jets. Um, little has been made about the fact that Sam Darnold will be facing his old team. I haven't heard a lot of talk about that, and Sam Darnold's not going to talk about that. But I think just going back to play in Jersey against the Giants, he exercised some of those demons, and I think this game, just like last week, Aaron Jones was really looking for a little get back at the Packers. I think secretly Sam Darnold would love to stick it to his old team, the team that did him wrong.
I think so. I think so. But one of the thing that has impressed me the most about Sam Darnold through these 4 weeks is the absolute humility that he has displayed through this whole thing. You win 28-6. We got stuff we got to fix. We're going to work on those things this week. Um, they won the big game against the Texans. Yeah, we scored big. We won the game, but we got things we got to work on. So they're focused. He's focused, and I'm so excited for the guy. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't say, "Oh yeah, I was a little excited about it," but they're just next up. He's on a mission, man. He's working. He's working for his next contract,
And
and
he should be.
Jets
Well,
are
he
in the
should be.
and the Jets are in the way of that. Because again, the other thing is he can't be making stupid mistakes or making dumb turnovers or doing on teams that they should just walk over. So I know we're going to get to our predictions in a little bit, but yeah, I think he's going to be excited, and I think it's just going to spill over. Meanwhile, Hawk might be practicing this weekend. Well, he may have he. They opened his window to practice on Friday.
Right.
So uh, I think it's ironic that they're talking about doing that as they're going into the bye week.
I I would be
So
surprised.
I don't expect to see him on the field, but
I would be surprised if we saw him on the field before the Lions game. I think maybe the Rams game because there's a timeline. The clock starts ticking once they activate him between the time that they activate and the time he's got to get on the field. And I think I think you'd rather have the Lions game behind you. Again, you got, you know, Dan Campbell. I'm gonna bite off some kneecaps. I'm gonna I'm gonna go after somebody's knees. Do you really want to put Hawkinson out there against his old team?
mm,
It's but stranger things have happened. I'd be surprised. I I think we'll have a very good problem with Hawkinson on the field because then it becomes we've only got one football and we've got Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. We've got the running game. We have a screen game now. Imagine that.
and all
And
the other guys like Oliver and Munt, no, those guys have actually those tight ends have made they were productive.
mhm,
Like they weren't getting a lot of balls thrown at them, but they were very productive guys. And
it's one more
whenever
person.
you say it's one on one coverage, we can't afford to double team. We can't afford to double team Justin Jefferson. We can't double team Addison. Oh man, we got to put somebody on this tight end too. We can't just let him. We can't let these tight ends, even these scrubs,
Mhm.
run around untouched in the set. In that second level.
Mhm.
Uh, Everything that they want to happen. Minnesota's been dictating what's going on, which brings us to uh, my take on the little comeback that the Packers were looking to make. I saw two things in that. One, I've seen athletes be hurt, and as a matter of fact, I've been a hurt athlete before, and I know you were a legend on the lanes. But you ever been hurt, and then when you get back in, and I know you have you with the knees. Once you get moving a little bit, you're not as apprehensive about it. And I think going into that third quarter, we were seeing a little bit more of Jordan Love. Hey, I don't think the Vikings took their feet off. I don't think the Vikings took their feet off the gas. I do think that they made it, the Packers made a couple of big plays, but then they blew a couple too. But when you get to the fourth quarter and you only got a couple minutes left and you're winning by 9, I don't care if they can go up and score touchdowns. I don't care. We're not going to get anybody hurt. We're going to just win the game and go home.
Well, if you miss 2 field goals, that doesn't help your team, especially it turns out one of those missed field goals cost you the game. The Packers, make no mistake about this, for what everybody says, and Jordan Love is coming back from injury. The Packers are a good team. They are a good team. They're not top echelon in the NFL right now, but they're not anywhere near the Carolina Panthers category. The Packers are a good team. They're expected to win at least 10 games this year. We have faced the gauntlet, and as I said in our predictions, I expected us to lose a bulk of these games because, quite frankly, I hadn't seen this team played. I wasn't fortunate enough to go to practices, and what they show in preseason is nothing. I'm not ready to revise my prediction yet, but I am willing to say that my predictions are probably off by about 2 games. My original prediction of 8 and 9 were probably off by about 2 games because we've won 2 games that I expected us to lose. Seeing us on the road for the first time, really, because I'm not counting that Giants game. You, me, and 3 guys out of the parking lot could have beaten the Giants that game. Okay, we didn't even need need 11.
I
okay,
agree.
So
I agree.
I'm not counting. Seeing us play a real team on the road, that counted for something, and getting a 28-0 lead on the Packers in their building. That was embarrassing to the Packers, so they responded the way I thought they would respond. Again, like you said, it's not like we let up on the gas, but they're a real team too, and they came to play, and that's their building, and they wanted to show we can hang with the Vikings. They didn't quite make it, and we got out of there with the win, but it was my favorite kind of win and the coach's favorite kind of win. The kind of win when you say we won the game, but before we start celebrating.
But we gutted it out, though, and that was one of those things because that's another thing. There are 3 types of games that you have to win. You have to decisively win the games that you've got to decisively beat the teams that you're supposed to beat. Mm-hmm. Then the close ones, the 12-round boxing matches, you got to somehow find a way to pull that out. But then the other ones, the nail biters, the cliffhangers, those other where things can slip away really quickly, you got to find a way to win those too.
Right. Yeah.
And so far, the Vikings have seen each of those games, and I'm surprised. I'm very surprised. I'm very pleased, but and then again, going into the bye week, there's potential for the Vikings to go into the bye week undefeated.
That's a scenario that seems very likely at this point because, again, the Jets, and we'll talk about our predictions shortly, but the Jets aren't scaring anybody, and they're becoming the picture of dysfunction. And 4 games into a season, that's really not what you want, especially with a veteran quarterback. The reason you bring in a veteran quarterback is for leadership and stability. And if your veteran quarterback isn't providing that, that doesn't bode well for the team.
He's there for a paycheck. But hey, they might be the leaders for the Davante Adams sweepstakes. However, he fled Green Bay when all that stuff started with Rodgers leaving Green Bay. He just thought that Davante Adams would follow him wherever he went.
Well,
And
Davante Adams could turn out to be the new Stephon Diggs, because there are two types of players, and you know this in the NFL. There's a kind of player, and I'm not going to call anybody's name, who their number one concern is, I want to get the bag. I want the most amount of money, and I'm not begrudging them that. The most money I could possibly get. And if the team wins, okay. If we lose, so what? I'm getting paid. And then you have the guys, usually the veterans, who think, you know what? I've made a good living in this sport. I've made more money than I need to make. I can make a living doing other things afterwards. I would like a title. Davante Adams doesn't strike me as that kind of guy. And
mm,
if people who are talking about bringing him to the Vikings, first of all, where are we going to get the footballs? They're just we don't need any more receivers. We have a team full of receivers. We don't need any more. We really don't. I mean,
no,
Jordan Addison would be a number one on any team other than the Vikings.
I like the guys we have. I like the role players that we have, and then I like the 1 and 2s that we have. Addison and Jefferson are just. I mean, they're amazing, and Jordan Addison. I'm off the field. Oh, now he's back on the field, and the minute he gets back, he scores 2 touchdowns.
Right, a rushing touchdown, receiving. Where if we bring in another receiver, where are the balls coming from? And are we going to abandon our run game?
And beat up the salary cap again too, and that's just something that we just don't need to do.
Yeah.
And but I think Kwesi knows that. Kwesi knows that also. So I'm confident that they're not thinking about, can Davante Adams help us, but
I'm out on Davante Adams. I'm out on the idea of bringing in any other offensive weapons. We don't need them. I mean, what did Kwesi call them? Champagne problems. We have a wealth. We have too many receivers. We have too many offensive weapons. We're starting to look like the 98 Vikings. Let's fortify that defense, which is starting to look good. Our secondary, which was supposed to be suspect, is turning out to be more than serviceable. Our kicking game is on point,
and I think they'll get better as they play together a little bit longer too.
Of course,
we're struggling at corner a little, but because one of them died, one of them tore up his ACL. But thus is the NFL. Not a whole lot we can do about that.
Well, one thing that did come up, and I've heard it now on 2 or 3 other outlets, is the possibility of us at the trade deadline either making a, quote, splash move, or packaging, because we still have our first round pick for next year. And we have, I think, 3, maybe 4 picks total in the draft. And let's face it, if this season continues to go the way it's going, that first round pick isn't going to be worth a lot. We're going to be picking in the 20s again. We're not getting a top 5 pick. Let's assume that will not be a top 5 pick. It won't be a pick that we can trade for a top 5 pick. So if we're hanging on to that, maybe we package that up and go get a position of need. Again, we're only in week number 4, so we may have a catastrophic injury. Let's hope not, but we may have an injury where we have to replace somebody. But that draft pick that we have, that first round draft pick, the market price for that continues to go down with every week that we have, like the first 4 we've had.
But we're solid at most positions that we need. I mean, there are no super key positions like blindside tackle. We got wide receivers. We're flushed. Tight end, and we got young ones too. That's exactly the thing. We got an old running back. So
we have an old running back. We have a young running back that we drafted 2 years ago. We've got running backs. So we're in the rare position, and I hate to say this because it sounds like I'm saying, oh, the Vikings going to win the Super Bowl. I'm not saying that at all. But we are sitting in 4 weeks into a season where if everything continues the way it is now, going the way it is now, we're not going to be needy.
Draft need it. We can draft need and not be like and trade out of the first round even and do that.
If somebody comes off the board, we won't say, "Oh my goodness, we're sunk." That won't happen this year. We need a
Because here's
quarterback
something.
this year.
Because here's something that trips me out. What will we? One of the positions, one of the players that we complained about all last year was Garrett Bradbury.
Mhm.
The one position that we're not saying anything about this year is center.
Well, we also have a center in the wings too. We have a backup who will probably be
Yeah.
our starting
But
center
what I'm
next year.
saying is, but what I'm saying is Bradbury has played well.
Yes, he has.
I just, I,
He's played.
but
He's definitely played well enough that nobody's talking about taking his job. I think there's only Ingram is the only weak link on that line. I don't think that we have any place where we have a glaring weakness where we say, well, let's start looking at who's coming out next year because we have to grab him. That draft pick is probably worth more than the player that we would get because
yeah,
we, and like I said, 4 weeks ago, that pick was worth gold. Now it's worth gold, but not 14 karat gold. In a few more weeks, it may be worth silver. If things continue like this, it might be worth tin. It may be a recycled can. You and I are old enough to remember when you used to get a nickel on a can to recycle it. If we're picking number 26, 27, I I don't know the point of keeping that pick. If we're picking number 32, great. Life is beautiful. I
but then
don't
if
want
we're
to pick
picking, but
31.
if we're picking our need, yeah, I'd rather be picking 32. But if we are picking that, if we are picking that far down, there's still somebody on the board that they say, well, maybe he's not going to be there. Maybe he's not going to be there in the second round. Let's get our guy.
Well, let's
But
face it. Let's face it. Let's
and
face it. If we're picking 32, who do we need? Who could we possibly need? If we're picking 32,
saying,
we just won the Super Bowl. Who do we need to?
then I would just, but at that point, I would just hope that Kwesi doesn't get into that Trader Rick mentality
No.
because, well, we don't need anything, so let's just trade down. Let's just get a bunch of draft picks of a bunch of people can't play.
This is,
Yeah, I can get three. I can get 3 fourth rounders for our 32nd pick in the draft.
But the beauty of that, and again, this is just speaking from what you and I have seen, and we were at the draft a couple of years ago. What we've seen progress over the past couple of years under this administration is that if we were to trade our first rounder for 3 fourth rounders, I believe those 3 fourth rounders would A, make the roster, and B, turn out to be very good players. Have you looked at the free agents that we picked up this year have been phenomenal. They played. They've been phenomenal. Everybody we've got, including Sam Darnold, Stephon Gilmore, Shaq Griffin, they're on the field. We're not just picking up guys like, oh, well, that didn't work out. That didn't work out. We're not doing the Trader Rick where you're getting draft picks, but you can't pull anybody. I think with Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell, not to mention Brian Flores, that these guys can identify players. And the fact that he's done what he's done with Sam Darnold, Nick Mullins, Josh Dobbs, Jalen Hall, everybody,
and even
Cousins.
And even Beetlejuice, he whose name we won't say.
Exactly. And I just did.
He's done plenty with. He did more with Cousins than we thought. And I'm just going to say it because, like I said, I still can't stand him. I'm still not a fan of Kirk Cousins, but I do know that Kevin O'Connell did something with him because he played better, and he's playing okay. He's playing okay tonight in Atlanta. So. You're
right. He made him a 13-win quarterback, which he had never been in his career. This isn't a 4-year sample 2 years ago. Yeah, this has not been a 2, 3, 4-year sample. It was a 6-year career that he said this guy had never been 2 games over 500. So,
and still for the most part, he's a 5. He was except if he didn't have that 5 that and even then, after the 13 and 4 season, he started 0-4.
Yeah, we were 0-4 this time last year. We were 0-4. We were 1-4 after Game 5. And
whatever.
People forget that. People pretend that didn't happen. They're like, well, the Vikings. No. This time last year we had lost 4 games. I'm pretty sure we were 1-4. Well, I know we 1-4 after 5 games. There's zero chance that that will happen this year. The worst we could be is 4-1. The worst we could be is 4-1. I'll take that.
That's true. That's
I'll
true.
take. So
All right.
getting to that, we now turn the page because week number 4 is over, finished history. It's done like your fantasy football week, and
I hate you.
hey, don't feel bad. I lost this. I lost this week also. I lost this week also.
Oh,
I say barely, but I lost. I lost to the team once again, second time this year that scored the most points in the league. So that puts me at 2-2, and it puts you at
0-4.
0-4. There you go. So we move on to the Minnesota Vikings traveling to England to play the New Jersey
Football
Jets.
Jet.
Your
right.
prediction.
All right. Well, I'm going to say that. Write this down. All right. So I'm going to say it now. You were saying, oh, the worst thing that could happen is the Vikings will be 4-1. Well, that would be the worst case scenario, but we ain't seeing the worst case scenario. The Vikings are going to come out of this undefeated. In fact, I don't think they've lost, and they haven't lost overseas, have they?
I don't believe so. I didn't check that today, but I don't recall.
I don't like getting fact checked because
I know the rules. We're gonna stay away from that. We're gonna stay away from that. But
we're not gonna say anything about being fact checked.
But I don't believe we have. I know we have a good record. It's kind of like our opening day at home. We have a good record, and you send us to England. Generally, we've had, ever since we've been going overseas, we've had coaches who've been very good at preparation. So,
I don't even. This is going to be one of those. We're going to put them away early, and we're going to do what we got to do. I don't see like a Green Bay type of comeback or back in the day. I know you grew up watching Chief Jay Strongbow, but I'm thinking like a Wahoo McDaniel comeback or something like that. No, it ain't going to be that. It's just going to be get down, stay down, don't get back up. And I think that and please don't get me wrong. I think that Aaron Rodgers is a wily veteran, but he's still running around, and you could still see that he's favoring that ankle. He's still favoring that, that leg is. So I don't think he's still 100%, but we'll see. And because again, one of the reasons that I picked the Vikings, to beat the Jets very early in the season was that you have a physically flawed quarterback against that crazy kitchen sink defense that Brian Flores is going to throw at him. And I don't think he's going to know what to do. And he's also unsure of his receiving core. And I think a lot of that was on him because I know you and I have had a lot of discussions about, I know the old veterans don't want to go to camp. And I know the veterans but you can go to camp and not spend all your time on the field and all that stuff. But if you have 3 new receivers, new running backs, new tight ends, because this is a new team for you, because, you played all of 3 downs last year. Dude, you got to be on the field. Just like you can't take Tuesdays off.
Exactly. For the life of me, I don't understand the concept of a quarterback that doesn't think they have to have any work in with his receiving core or his offensive line. You're going to a new team. Maybe if he'd played for the Jets for 4 or 5 years and they knew each other well, I understand that. But like you said, he played 3 snaps. He went to training camp. They don't know him. They don't know him. You're the captain of this offense. You're the head of the team, basically.
Or if he actually was healthy the whole season and good, bad, or indifferent, he was there for the whole season. He knows the program. He knows his people. That's Aaron being Aaron. He's not going to show up for camp. Big deal. Because some of those guys do that. Yeah. But you look at the great ones though. And like I said, I'm not a Tom Brady apologist, but Tom Brady did that work. Yeah. I can't say it but I can't. He comes in going, I don't know any of these guys. I guess I got to go to camp. But he was preparing since. I mean, his workout regimen starts in like May.
These are
Like he
these
stopped partying and like any of the social stuff that he would do. He was stopped and he had his little personal trainer and they went to work in May. So
these are
by the time June, July came, he's ready to go. And then he still showed up for these other things, OTAs and stuff.
these are the guys that succeed. The guys who succeed are the guys who plan and prepare. Aaron Rodgers, for all his peccadillos, let's call it that, for all of his quirks, for all of his talent on the football field, Aaron Rodgers is a difficult guy to deal with. Let's say that he is temperamental. He doesn't like to take blame. He doesn't like to take responsibility, and it's always somebody else's fault. And one thing that does not happen, doesn't work well in the NFL, he is a man over 40 years of age. This is a man who is literally playing on the field with and against guys young enough to be his offspring. It's a different generation on the field. It's not the same generation. That generation doesn't take kindly to the nonsense that he does because
You
they've
don't
never
have to.
had to.
Oh, you don't have to go. You don't have to go to work, and you're thinking you're gonna light me up for 500 yards passing.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
think what?
yeah, yeah. They come
Um,
in they come in there looking to make a name for themselves. It's not like the sack that Strahan put on Brett Favre. It's like the gentleman's sack. It's like, okay, I'm gonna get the sack record and you fall down. No, these guys are looking to make a name. They're not helping you up when they hit you. Okay. They're not afraid to be the one that broke your leg or took you out of the game. And my prediction is the same that we're going to win this game. I predicted last week that we would blow the Packers out. I was half right for the first half. We did. I predicted
and you
that we
got the
would.
31 points too, because you
That's
said 31-17.
I said 31-17. I did. I said 31-17, so I got the 31. Talked you out of the four field goals. I said there weren't just going to be four field goals, four touchdowns. I said there would be something else, but I'm going to say that this game is going to be even worse. This is I don't know. I don't know if we've ever lost a game in England. I do know that 2 years ago when everything was going right, that was the double doink game
Yeah.
against the Saints. And that's when I said this is going to be a great year for us because everything that could possibly have gone right for us went right. Josh Allen fumbled the ball on the 1 yard line for us. We get the double doink and it goes in. Everything. We missed three of the starting quarterbacks we were supposed to be facing and end up playing the backups. Everything went right. I think, and I know we beat the Steelers in England also. So yeah, we may be undefeated there. But I I don't see that streak ending. I think we're going to go in. What we learned last week is you run up a score and then you run it up some more because you never know how many points you're going to need. When
That's right.
when the horse is dead, if eating a dead horse is not a good idea, but the horse might still be twitching.
Especially with
Okay.
especially with football. I mean, I know baseball some you're not stealing bases with a 10-run lead, but football, man, one pass, one big play get you six
Yeah.
like right away.
Mhm. So
And when you're up 14, six will cut a lead, a big touchdown will cut a lead in nothing,
that's
in
right.
no time. So
That's right. A pick six happens. I mean, you're not even on defense, and you're playing offense, and you get points scored against you. That's football. So I think, like I said, we won last week, but we lost the second half, and I think that's going to resonate with Brian Flores and his defensive
you
that
know he's
don't want to
upset
happen
about
again. Yeah, yeah. You don't want even Kevin O'Connell didn't walk off of that field with a smile on his face. So it's like the old there's a line in Frasier, in an episode of Frasier, where Frasier and Niles go to a restaurant and they they Daphne and their father were there and just said, "So how was it?" And I said, "Everything was perfect except for one tiny flaw." And the dad said, "Yep, which is just how you guys like it." It's like, yeah, exactly. It's like that was a good win. It was a good win, but we had one problem, so we can work on that now. Because if you play great offense and you play great defense, what's the coach gonna say when they walk in on Monday? Great job, guys. I guess we don't have anything to do. No, no,
Yeah.
we have
Nope.
something to do. And by the way, while I'm on the subject, um, Sam, a little quicker getting those plays in. Okay, I can't live with this 2 and 3 seconds on the clock anymore.
Yeah, we talked about
Yeah,
that, and they
just
the crew and the Purple
so did
Daily
Ben.
crew talked about that a little bit too. And actually, it was a caller on the Bent line said, "Yeah, the pre-snap reads are killing us, man,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
uh,
He's got to get those.
they're
He's
coming out
got
of
to
the
get those
huddle
in
with
quicker.
9 seconds left, man. And you can't.
He's got to
Not
get
with
those
that
in quicker.
offense.
He's
Yeah.
got.
So the Vikings 5-0 going into the bye.
So what's your score prediction? Now that we're getting close to wrapping up, what's your score prediction for that game?
24-6.
24-6 Vikings. So you
24-6 Vikings.
So you think we're not even going to allow a touchdown, or you think it's going to be a touchdown but a missed extra point?
I don't think they're going to allow a touchdown.
Okay. I say
This is going to be that one where it all comes together.
I'm going to say, yeah, that's what Lou Brown said when he brought the cardboard cutout of the owner in.
Coming
We need
together,
something
boys.
we need something to all come together. I'm going to go even deeper into the pool, and I can't swim. I'm going to say 42-14 Vikings. I think we're going to go to England and put on a show for those people who love the Vikings. There are going to be a lot of Vikings fans. I've been talking to some of the Vikings fans over there online and Facebook. There's a group here. I believe the Virginia group or the California group is going over with John Randall's. He has a travel group, so they're going to be going over there. There are a lot of Vikings fans that live there. I think it's going to be like a home game for us, and I think with us going in 4-0, it won't be the first time the Vikings have ravaged England historically, but it will be it will be one of the most fun. So I say it's going to be. Would I say 42-17,
42-14, you said.
42-14? I'm going to stick to that. I'm going to say 42-14, 42-14 Vikings. And okay, so we made our predictions. Do you have a random game of the week this week?
Random game of the week.
Do you have one?
Yes, Pittsburgh. And I wrote it down, and I came from a meeting, so I messed it up. But Pittsburgh is playing. Oh, they're playing Dallas. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm on my Justin Fields watch. He had a little setback this past week, but I still think that I thought he was again. This is all the stuff coming from his teammates in Chicago, not just I feel because F your feelings, when they talk about feelings. But those guys are pretty upset that they just said, "Oh, we just sent him away," and he's been a pretty solid quarterback. And of course, he lost a game, big deal. But I want to see how he plays against that Cowboy defense, and that might be a fun game to watch.
It should. And seeing Mike Zimmer's defense going after a young quarterback, I said I haven't done any research into that game, but my hunch is that game in Dallas.
No, I think it's in Pittsburgh.
Okay, well, I'm still going to say I would go with Pittsburgh in that because Dallas doesn't impress me. Dak Prescott absolutely doesn't impress me, and I think Mike Zimmer's defense. I think he's lost a little off of his fastball, honestly. Even when he was here, he was a great defensive coordinator. Then he became an okay coach who focused on defense. But I think teams catch up to his schemes, and he does play like when he was here. He plays the same scheme against every team. He plays his scheme like Donatel. This is my scheme. Brian Flores plays a different scheme for the team he's playing, which makes him one of the best. But Mike Zimmer, I don't think he has the energy to scheme for each team. So
And that was one of the things I admired about Bill Belichick, where his game plan is not this. It's not the same defense. He wouldn't play the Bills the same way he played the Dolphins.
no, it doesn't work.
And you're seeing these guys twice a year, and they're not going to see the same thing. So that, and I just love watching that Brian Flores defense just do their thing. So yeah, it's going to be fun. So this weekend's going to be fun to watch. I'll be at church when this game's happening. So I'm not going to be bad. I'm not going to be bad. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, right. well, look at it this way. You'll be able to find out the results when you get out, and that should be worth waiting for.
Yeah, I'll probably catch the fourth quarter.
So okay, so in that Steelers Cowboys game, did you make a prediction in that? I didn't hear you predict which pick a team.
I just Steelers, and that's just a pick. I'm using that as a pick 'em because I honestly don't think I think the Cowboys are just what the Cowboys are every time. They're just awful. I don't think they're as good as they think they are. And
nobody's as good as they think they are.
I see Dak Prescott be described as the Black Kirk Cousins. That's when I get thoroughly amused by that. But
he's an average quarterback at best that everybody says is great. So,
and he can put some numbers up because he's surrounded by the amazing players. But again, the great ones get it done. And I hate when people it's a team sport. It's a team. No, but the great players have to kind of step above, and then the great players get it done.
Well, it's a team sport, but every year a team wins the Super Bowl. Every year a team wins the Super Bowl. So that argument is completely moot. And very rarely, I can count the number on one hand, has a team won with a quarterback who wasn't exceptional. That doesn't happen. So yeah.
Back in the days of yesteryear, when you had cats like Earl Morrall, and Earl Morrall, I think he won with Unitas on the bench back in the day. Brad Johnson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who's the cat
Trent
from Baltimore? Trent Dilfer.
Yeah. Like I said, you can name them.
You can name it. Man.
Yeah,
everybody else. Them. You look at Brady, Greasy, Bradshaw, Staubach. Come on.
You can name the
Young,
Elway,
and you say those
Manning.
guys. Those guys put teams. They put people on the show, and God help me. I'm gonna say it, but even Favre.
Yeah, Favre. You know what? Favre was Favre was one of the best quarterbacks the NFL had seen. But to say that it's a team game, so it doesn't. No, a team game is great, but if the leader of the team is flawed, you're not winning it all.
If the leader can't play, you're not winning.
Yeah.
Period.
So, and there's a direct correlation. Anyway, okay, so that's it for week number 5. And we're gonna wrap.
What's your random game? I know we're gonna wrap up, but was there any?
Actually, I don't have a random game. I do not have a random game this week. Like I said, we got the early game on Sunday, which I will be watching. I've watched our Green Bay game again. I watched that because I wanted to focus on the second half. I wanted to see what was going on. And most of it was just us. Not even letting up on the gas. It was Green Bay playing well. We made a couple of mistakes, but it was football. Green Bay played well, which you expect them to do at home. I mean, we're not going to lay down at home if somebody scores 28 or 33 points on us. We pay some points.
Right.
So the teams have pride.
Right. That's it.
All right. Well, so until next week, or I might drop a short clip or two on Sunday, or maybe between now and then if I get any news or if anything happens. But until then, this has been the QR Code. I'm Razor.
I'm Q.
And
Skol!
go. We'll see you next time, folks.
All right.